It's with very great pleasure that I'm going to introduce to you Shed Simove. I had actually never heard about you, but I went to a BBC seminar in London, and as a kind of evening treat, the BBC guys had invited you to come and give a presentation. And I would say it's one of the first times I've seen a presentation which left me in a bit of a shock. Not so much because you talk so much about television, but the way you talked about ideas, the way you develop your ideas. So this is not going to be a session strictly about television. It's a session about how to come up with great ideas.
Correct.
You will hear something about television because Shed has been involved in Big Brother in London. But his career in television ended dismally and fatally with a huge scandal which went on the front pages of British newspapers.
Good.
Yes.
Nice.
Now they think it's about sex. But
not
we'll
about
keep it
sex.
that. After his stint in the television business, Shed went on to produce things of immeasurable value. He'll present some of these things for us.
Being sarcastic.
Amongst which is a successful author. He's published a book that sold 80,000 copies. Won't tell you more about it, but you'll hear about it a little bit later. And I've said to Shed, he said, "Can you say naughty words in Danish?" And I said, "Yes." So, no bars hold. And it's a great pleasure to have you, Shed. Let's hear how you work with ideas, and let's be introduced to some of the ideas that you've come up with.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks. Thanks, Thomas. Thank you. I saw a job going at Planet 24, and some of you might have heard of Planet 24. It was the hottest production company in the UK at the time. And there were 2,000 people going for one job. So I thought, what could I do? And I did something that was really important, and I do even to this day. I looked at what everyone else was doing in the market, and I did something different. So everyone else was sending in a CV and an application form, and I thought, that's fine, but it's not good enough. So what I did was I sent a pizza to the boss at lunchtime, and it had a flip-top box, and on the box it said, wanted to give you a pizza, my mind, which is a terrible pun, isn't it? And, of course, with a stunt, it's only good enough if you then back it up with real work. So I sent in ideas and scripts and format points. And they got me in, and I got a job on The Big Breakfast, which was a groundbreaking morning show. And I worked there for 6 years, and it taught me how an idea plus some teams of amazing people can make anything happen. And after that, I wanted to do something that perhaps you might want to do as well. I wanted to make a TV show that was both populist, but also thought-provoking. And ever since I've been young, I've always thought that young people are important, and how a good teacher can make a young adult flourish and blossom. And I'm sure you all had great teachers that did that for you. And so I wanted to do a show about what it is to be young and how important teachers are. And I told Channel 4 this, and you all know Channel 4 probably in the UK. And Channel 4 said, "We need a big idea, Shed." So I said, "Okay, I've got a big idea for this documentary. What I'm going to try and do is go back to school as a 16-year-old boy when I'm 30 and see if I can get away with it." They said, "Shed, you'll never do it." But I did do it. And as Thomas mentioned, it ended in a scandal that landed me on the front pages of The Sun. Here it is. They say that you've arrived when you've had a scandal. I'm not sure about that. This is a traumatic time. And the background to this was, I told the school we were doing a documentary, and they knew that this 16-year-old boy was coming in, but what they didn't know, it was me, age 30, with my hair gelled down and braces on my teeth. And I turned up for the entrance interview. It was the most frightening thing I've ever done in my life. The director, which was my director, and my camera crew were there filming this, and the deputy head was seeing if I was suitable to go into the school as a 16-year-old boy. And I was so frightened that I, in mid-interview, went catatonic, and I couldn't speak. And I was thinking, come on, Shed, keep speaking. You've got hundreds of thousands of pounds riding on this. You've got a big show that you want to do. Keep talking. But I couldn't, so I made my excuses. I had to leave. The director could see I was in trouble, and I thought I'd blown it. But I hadn't blown it. She came out and she said, he thought you were a bit nervous, but you start school on Monday. So I went to school as a 16-year-old boy, aged 30, for 9 weeks. And while I was there, I even had a 17th birthday party. I made it a fancy dress birthday party, and I dressed up as Peter Pan, which was ill-advised looking back. And this show is one of the perhaps most important things I've ever made. But unfortunately, at the end of the 9 weeks, even though we had this incredible documentary in the bag, and the rushes were just fantastic, and it wasn't just about my gag, it was about important children and young people in the school and important teachers in the school, when I actually disclosed the subterfuge to them, they were very upset, and we messed up the reveal. And it taught me an important lesson about lying, and as Thomas said, that this was a big scandal in my life and it rocked my world. And the show never got aired. They took legal action against me and Channel 4, and I didn't work for a year. Woohoo! Great story, eh? But Channel 4 publicly couldn't touch me, but the commissioners all thought what I'd done was incredible, and they'd all seen the footage. And so for a year I was in the wilderness, but after that, as Thomas mentioned, I worked on Big Brother because they needed a new team to reversion Big Brother after Big Brother 4, which wasn't so creative. So they got lots of different people in, and I was one of those people. And I worked on Big Brother for 10 series, and it's thrilling, as you all know, being part of something that hits the public consciousness, even if it is Big Brother. But you all might have your own opinions about it. But then, after a while of pitching ideas around the world, I thought, you know what? Our brains can actually be focused on any creative challenge. And it doesn't matter whether it's TV, film, radio, making widgets. But then something inspired me, and I decided to make novelty gifts and naughty toys. And so now, my career has changed, and I make novelty gifts. And I'm really proud and also surprised to tell you that I've sold over 1 million units of novelty gifts around the world now. And I'll give you a few examples. This, you'll know, is made of loofah material, and that's his face. This is the Martin Luther King. It's just a pun, and on the back it says, I have a clean. And I get these made in China. We all have these ideas, don't we? And I get a factory to actually pump them out. And I bring them over and I ship them around the world. And ideas can come from anywhere. What I do is, I had one idea, which is, I was watching a sitcom, and Joey came on and Friends, and they all clapped, the audience clapped, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if you could live your own sitcom. So I made a little sound machine, and this is sold about 75,000 units, and it just has little sound effects. Very simple. So you can always feel loved. And it's very childish. And kids love this, and people in boardrooms buy it. And I just keep spinning these ideas out. And these are my remote controls that do absolutely nothing. This is the controller man and the controller man and controller woman, and they show the depths of the respective gender. So as we all know, the one that a woman uses, women are much deeper than us. So it says, sort of has buttons at the top there, talk about feelings, shopping, shoes, and the control a woman, which is used by a man, and men are shallow, like a puddle. Sort of talks about give me beer, sex, food, because we're simple creatures, aren't we? And I'm always developing new ideas, and here's one that I'm developing for Christmas. Let's see if you like it. This is mistletoe, of course, and this is my belt mistletoe, and you just pop it on there. You say, give us a kiss. I think you'll agree I've captured the true meaning of Christmas. And I think life is a mind trick. And we all have fear about trying new things. And I think it's helpful sometimes to see life in different ways. And one of the ways that really helps me is to see my life as an experiment. And that's because science experiments never actually fail. When a scientist does an experiment, he has a hypothesis, or she has a method and a result and a conclusion. And the experiment is a success, is termed a success, if you get results. And so when things aren't going exactly to plan, I give myself succor and positive feedback by saying, as long as you're getting results, then you can always do another experiment. So that helps me, and maybe it'll help you too, to live your life like an experiment. So here's the first technique for coming up with an idea. Twist something that's already existing. We all do it. The BBC does it. Takes Come Dancing from 40 years ago, make Strictly Come Dancing. We're all doing it all the time. I did it with these candles that I saw in a shop. They're very simple. They say happy birthday and they make that phrase on the cake. And lots of other companies were doing these at the time. But I thought, why don't I do just a bit different, a different type of phrase, maybe a bit funnier. So I did these. This is my lost count candles. And I did 21 again. And there they are on the cake. And my bestseller, which is You're Old. and You're Old have sold 250,000 round the world. And what was really important, when I got these made in Taiwan, details. So if you just tell Taiwan, I want some candles with a backboard, they might make it floppy. So you have to be very prescriptive, like you do in television. So you have to say, I want the backboard 1 millimeter. You have to say, I want the background slightly contemporary, so that then gift stores and also contemporary places like the Museum of Modern Art in New York, which took this product, they also put it in. So all these things are very important. And of course, once you've got a success, you then extend it out. So I did 30-ish and 40-ish. And I was really excited recently, actually. 40-ish had a brush with fame because Nigella Lawson, you know, the famous chef, she put them on her cake. That's cool, isn't it? And there she says, how great are these birthday candles from Shed Simove? And this idea of twisting and updating happens in all industries all over the world. And of course, this idea of the printing press and the communication devices like the telephone, we're always updating them, we're always having different iterations, and they grow into different ways of communicating. And of course now, you're in the communication business, we all are, and it's exciting how things can twist and update to grow into new ideas. And I took an idea which was based on glasses, and I thought, I'm going to twist that idea. And I made these, my Hide Your Identity specs, and these are very simple. You pop them on, and when you have a photograph, it looks like you're in the Special Forces. So if you want to be an international man or woman of mystery, you just pop these on. Perhaps if you want to upload a naked photo of yourself to the internet, I know Thomas does that a lot. You don't need Photoshop, you just pop these on, $3.99, your boss will never know you're a pervert. Perfect.